Quiet on set. Picture is up. All right, roll sound.
Rolling.
Roll cameras.
Cams rolling.
And 3, 2.
Morning, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to another dip in Hank's Think Tank. Today we got with us Constable Rowdy Hayden and Eric McHugh, and he's a captain in the department, correct, Eric?
Yes, sir. Montgomery County Precinct 4.
Montgomery County Precinct 4. I've also got Mark Hogan to my left here.
Hi, everybody.
And we're going to see what we can do. Rowdy, I appreciate you coming in. This was a long time getting you here. We had to jump through a lot of hoops, and your department was awesome in the way they handled this thing and helped us out and helped us to get you here. So kudos to those guys. Appreciate it. And Eric's good to have you with us. Eric's another guitar player, so we got 3 guitar players in the house today, and I heard they just bought a plane. So the next time you see me on video, I'll be throwing up out of the passenger side of that thing. So, Rowdy, good to have you. You're a popular guy. You've been the constable now for how long?
So I've going on my 4th term, and I've been just a little over 12 years now.
Yeah, that's a good long time. So what made you decide to shoot for constable anyway? I mean, you could have gone anywhere pretty much. So.
Well, I started my law enforcement career when I was 19. I started working in the Montgomery County Jail as a jailer, and I knew from an early age that I wanted to be in law enforcement. And my dad was constable for several years, and I grew up around that, and I just knew that's where I wanted to be.
Kind of ran in the family as a calling, huh?
It did, and I wanted to work in the community that I lived in and try to make this a better place.
So your dad was a Montgomery County constable?
My dad was constable.
I did not know that.
He was actually constable, county commissioner, and JP. He served in all 3 offices here.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so it is a family thing
Yeah.
then. So yeah, you kind of fit right in.
For sure.
You've got a really, really strong following in the community. And, your last election was amazing. And what do you think has given you that strength, that kind of following? Because you just don't see that, even in local politics, especially in a county like this, where things can be really divided. You know how it is.
So, Hank, I would have to contribute it to several things. Hard, honest work. Number 2, the deputies that we have working at the constable's office, they love and care about this community.
Yeah.
And I have to give them all the credit for that. Lastly, I think that our social media platform, we try to get the message out to the citizens of what we're doing and that we're working for them. And a lot of times you'll see a post where a deputy it'll be a traffic stop, maybe in front of your house, and you think, well, I wonder what they're doing. And a lot of times you can get on our Facebook and you can see what we're doing right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Actually, there has been a traffic stop in front of my house. It was a couple of years ago, but some guy stole one of those big tractors and I guess tried to run with it or something. Ended up crashing it right in front of the house.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was
glad
impressive.
it wasn't in your house.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So I guess my next question, and I'm a little bit confused about how the different entities work here. So how are y'all different from the sheriff's department? And I was always under the impression that the constable's office kind of were, y'all served court papers and did other things that were more court related.
Yeah.
But I know now you're an active law enforcement office. Did that recently come about, or how does it differ from the sheriff's department and other agencies within the county?
So we, the constables have constitutional duty to serve the courts.
Okay.
Whereas the sheriff, his primary duty is to run the jail.
Okay.
So before he does any patrol or anything else, he has to make sure the jail's fully functional. Eric, I'll let you elaborate. Ours is civil.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, so essentially, once you've met your statutory obligations with regards to the constitutionally directed responsibilities you have, so for example, us it's the court papers, for the sheriff it's the jail, there's no restrictions on what we can do to help maintain the safety of the community and maintain the peace. So you have some constable agencies and constable offices who elect to strictly just do the civil stuff, just do the court papers, just go home.
Serve warrants and probably.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have other agencies, because we're not restricted from doing so, who look at the community and say, how can we engage and help keep the community safe and ease the burden on other law enforcement agencies in the area? And that's, of course, the prerogative of the elected official. In this case, it's what Constable Hayden has chosen to do, and it's been fantastic because our capacity to help the community in that way is, in my opinion at least, having been raised in East County, has had a tremendous effect on not just the safety of the community, but making a person want to stay here and live here.
Sure.
So
So how many deputies do you have?
So currently we have 39. In October, the county's budget year is from October to October
Yeah.
fiscal year, and we're going to be adding 2 more positions in October, so we'll have 41 full time. That's counting me and Eric and the chief
Yeah.
and captain.
Yeah, that's a pretty big office. That's a lot to manage.
It is.
You know,
It's,
so yeah, you got a lot on your plate.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. Do you?
Yes, I do.
So are you still active? I mean, do you still do stops and traffic stops and things like that, or?
So Wednesday I worked a full shift at the office by 9 o'clock and
Mhm.
there all day, and then went home and changed into uniform, and I came out and worked about an 8-hour shift that night, and got a drunk driver off the street, and came out and worked with my guys. So
Yeah.
I get to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, intoxicated drivers are just bad in this county. I don't know. It seems like Montgomery County is almost worse than Harris, but I don't know what the stats are on that. But it just seems that way to me.
So the
You know. And I remember when there was no drinking out here, when all this was dry, you know. And so I don't
Really?
know.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it really wasn't all that long ago. You know.
So East Montgomery County has seen almost a 50% increase in TABC license issued in the last year.
That's people selling alcohol.
Yeah, and that's attributes to the massive growth that
Right.
we're experiencing in East Montgomery County.
Mm-hmm.
And in our department, or in East County, I would say that we've seen a spike in DWI arrest, and I would contribute that to, a lot of things. COVID could be a factor in that. People are
Sure.
at home; they're finally able to get out. So we have seen an increase in that, and we're putting programs in place to try to combat that.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous crime. And
Right.
Right.
So do you think education's a key to that?
I think we do. We do try to get the word out.
Mm-hmm.
We put messages on our Facebook in both Spanish and English. We plan on doing some more stuff, to get the message out to don't drink and drive.
Right. Yeah, people still do it anyway. That's tough. I mean, how do you really combat it? The only way you can really do it, I guess, is just to, find them before they hurt somebody.
We've been fortunate. It's happened, but a lot of the bad accidents, fatalities that you're seeing
Mm-hmm.
involving drinking driving has been in other counties. East Montgomery County, I hope it continues to be that way, but we haven't had a deadly drinking and driving accident in quite a while.
yeah, and the thing is that what we've done is we've done targeted enforcement because we recognized the massive and rapid growth in the county. And while active TABC licenses were up countywide around 17%, they were up in East County almost 50%. So it's a result of the growth that's here versus the establishment that's already there. And so what we've done is just had targeted enforcement. I think a 200% increase in the number of DWI arrests in the last 3 years. A lot of what we do and a lot of what the Constable has us do as we look to not just how do we actively enforce now, but how do we project 1 year from now, 2 years from now, is we do a lot of statistical studies going back, 2, 3, 5 years and see, okay,
Mhm.
where are we trending and where do we need to target for next year to help make sure we can attack that problem before it becomes a problem.
Where
Right.
does it seem to be trending?
Well, right now the number of arrests are certainly up,
Mhm.
and we think that we're doing the right things to try. and
Certain
help
areas,
offset
certain
that.
times.
We look at those instances, but just in general, they're up,
Mhm.
and so we're taking steps to try and offset that growth that's there. Not the growth, but the result in the rise in crime.
Mhm.
As a result of the growth, we're doing what we can to try and offset that and combat that.
Now, as far as growth goes in the county, I mean, the county's exploded, as far as population goes. But what about your office itself? Has it kind of grown along with that same line, or have you all just kind of tried your best to maintain
No,
what
we've
you
been
can?
fortunate that the commissioners and that they've seen that, with our growth, that there's a bigger need. Just recently in our budget hearings, Commissioner Metz funded out of his budget another DWI unit because he saw the increase in those type of crimes, and he was on board to help us do something about that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Metz has been doing a great job.
I think just about everybody has a direct or at least an indirect story of something tragic happening with a drunk driver.
Oh, yeah.
And you would think that they would be so known to everybody that nobody would dare do it, but it's still a problem to be fought.
It is. 5 years ago, my
Yeah.
son, he was 16 years old, and he was hit head on by a drunk driver. And the
Really?
guy was, it was his 9th DWI arrest.
Ninth.
See, how does that? I
Ninth
don't
arrest.
understand how that happens. I mean,
And he had to have a suspended license at least, correct?
He did, and he was fresh out of prison, and most of his cases came out of Harris County,
man,
and they went to trial, and he received a life sentence here in Montgomery County for his 9th DWI.
should. I mean, it's obvious that it's not going to stop at that point. So, what about drug use? Is it up too? I mean, as far as I know, meth seems to be, at least it seems to be down, but I'm not really sure. I was doing some research on that a couple of days ago, and I actually came across a pretty interesting video where they were talking about the components that they use to make meth, which was ephedra and pseudoephedra, and I think that there's an effort to make those drugs both prescription-based only and not export them out of the country.
So-
And they claim that would almost stop the production of meth altogether. And that sounds
I
good
have
to
to
me.
disagree.
Oh, really?
So when I first took office, we were encountering an active meth lab, probably 2 a month.
That's
in
crazy.
2009. It was people were making their own meth, and it went from people making the meth. It would take several days. They would do it in their bathroom, in the bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
It went from that to them making it just in a matter of hours in a 2-liter Coke bottle. And now we've seen it gone from, we haven't had an active meth lab in
It's been years.
probably, I'd say 6 or 7 years.
Really?
And the reason for that is they don't have to go gather all them ingredients to make it now. They get it straight from the cartels.
Yeah.
They'll go down to Houston and get it. I guess cheaper than they can make
Cheaper
it.
and quicker
So-
just to go get it from somebody.
It is it's really just about economics. What they did was they put a lot of restrictions on the components that were utilized in the labs, whether it be the one bottle stuff or the more complex labs, to where it became, I'm not going to say impossible, but very difficult and very expensive for people who wanted to make it on their own to gather those components and execute the process. And something changed in terms of the capacity for the cartels, Superlabs, to produce and import that stuff. And we saw the price, just street price plummet.
Really?
To a point where, when I came on and was active on patrol as a deputy, probably a 10 times decrease in prices. And so we don't see it being produced here very often, and it's very, very rare now.
But it's still just as bad of a problem, even though
is.
it's just not being made here. Because I
One
know those
thing-
labs are dangerous. They blow up.
They
And,
are. One thing we've done to try to combat that is we've taken one deputy and we've assigned him to a DEA task force.
Mhm.
He's sworn in as a federal agent, but he's still, my deputy.
Yeah.
But he works over there full time with them guys to try to stop the flow into our precinct.
Wow.
Is there a lot of overlap between entities working in conjunction with each other on these projects like that?
I don't know if it really overlap.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's, certainly geographically, that's the case. And we all have very good working relationships with other agencies. So if we know there's a problem in an area, we will certainly reach out to the agency in that area and say, hey, we're investigating this thing that's geographically located where you might normally work.
So we're not stepping on each other.
Well, it's less about that and more about the more hands you got, the easier the job is to combat the crime.
Yeah, that makes sense. But y'all aren't the first responders on 911 calls. Like if I have a problem here and there's some crime being committed, I call 911. we're in a different area because we're just outside of Splendora proper. So Splendora doesn't respond. The sheriff's department normally does.
Yeah,
But do
the
y'all
sheriff's
take those
department-
calls also, or?
We do take those calls. The sheriff's department's going to be your primary response.
Okay.
Now, if it's an in-progress call, something happening right then,
Mhm.
you're going to get the closest officer to you.
So whoever's nearby.
And it may be an officer from Splendora Police Department, or if an officer's nearby, if one of our officers are in the neighborhood patrolling or serving a paper,
Mm-hmm.
that's who's going to be first because it's a priority call.
Okay.
And it's up to 911 dispatch to put that out to who needs to hear it.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. And I guess they're able to tell where everybody's at by, I don't know, some system they have.
For
I
the
would
most part,
imagine.
they can
Yeah.
see on the screen, who's
Wow.
closest to you.
Yeah. Well, that's comforting.
Yeah.
Because being in this little zone, I've always kind of wondered, well, if something does come off around here, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
How long we have to wait? Because I know that everybody's just really busy. I don't know how it's been through COVID, but before COVID, pre-COVID, all the agencies were snowed, even like Roman Forest, which is a really tiny municipality, but still, there were busy guys down there.
And COVID, while it might have affected us in some ways, we didn't shut down.
Yeah.
The calls still had to be ran, and people were still committing crimes.
Yeah, that's too bad. So what do you see for the future? I mean, for the future of the agency, for the future of Montgomery County?
So we're going to continue to try to keep up with the growth. I was talking to Mark earlier. We're a fast-growing community. And
Yeah.
the more people, the more traffic, the more crimes naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to continue to put programs in place to try to combat that crime and keep this East Montgomery County safe.
Yeah. And so your term is up 2022?
Yeah. Yes, it'll be the constable's office term runs with the president.
Okay.
Presidential term, so that'd be 24.
24.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow, so I guess you'll run again, huh?
I will.
Well, you're doing something right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
You're in your third term, is that right?
And I'm honored to do so. I'm honored to be
Yeah.
here. I'm honored to
Fourth.
be able to serve the citizens here where I grew up.
You're majorly loved by the county, that's for sure. Everywhere you go, you mention that guy's name, and everybody smiles. Like, I know Rowdy.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to jump at the chance to know this guy.
So how did you get the name Rowdy?
Yeah.
So I've had that name before I was born. When
Before you were born?
when my mom, when I was before I was born, somebody would say, "Well, how's baby today?" And
Already making
and
noise.
she would say, "Well, he's being rowdy today."
Oh, okay.
Kicking or whatever it was. So I literally had that nickname before I was born.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool. And you went to school out here, I guess?
yeah, right here in Splendora.
Right here in Splendora.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we've got, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I wanted to get your take on it. We've got constitutional carry that's going to go into effect September the 1st, I believe. And so it kind of has me a little bit worried just because I think that there's going to be a lot of yahoos out there that are, going to try their best, but their gun's going to fall out of their pants or whatever the case may be. And, these will be uneducated people.
You've got
But
a
even though
lot
they-
of first-time gun owners
Yeah.
that are going to be carrying around, and they may or may not be good at it yet.
Right.
Well, I can quickly sum up what I feel my perspective and
Yeah, I'd like
and
to get your
probably
take on
most
it.
law enforcement officers' perspective is it shouldn't change much for us because we've from day one before you were able to get a handgun license or now constitutional carry, we've always considered everyone armed.
Okay.
When we make a traffic stop, we have to consider that they have a weapon, so we always have to use caution,
Yeah.
and that's not going to change.
Yeah.
But do you think there'll be a spike in shootings and like even road rage stuff, which is now on the rise? I mean, do you think after that, because everybody's going to be able to carry legally, they'll be
It
more
could be
apt to?
Possibly, citizens
Yeah.
may be taking matters into their own hands, or I'm sure you'll see a little mix of everything.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
to
and I'm
remember-
of the opinion that it'll spike, but then as everybody gets tired of carrying, because it's a mess.
It's not for everybody.
It's not
Yeah.
comfortable. It's how it is. I think that'll kind of decrease and it'll fade out after a period of time. But
Maybe so.
in the beginning, I think it's going to be kind of tough. Eric, you had something?
Well, I
you
was going to say, it's been legal to carry a gun in your car for some time.
Right.
So-
Concealed handgun, or even an open rifle, right?
Sure. So I don't know that we'll see a large spike in that necessarily, but might there be an increase in some incidents? Possibly. But I think you guys are right on the money. For us, like the constable said, we've always considered everyone armed. Just from a general perspective, if you start sort of thinking about how things might be, I think when people start carrying guns, they're going to start realizing it's burdensome at times. It's not the most comfortable thing, the easiest thing, and you may find it at first, but it's like with open carry. Do we see some open carry stuff? Certainly. I haven't run any problems with people open carrying.
Yeah, I saw a few when open carry first started, and then it kind of fell off.
I think
you hardly ever see
seen
any now.
3
Really?
since that law passed, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about do you think people should still move toward the LTC after constitutional carry comes into effect? Because I would think from a law enforcement perspective, I'd much rather deal with somebody who has an LTC for one reason: they've been vetted. You know, so at least they know that they've had a background check, and they're not criminalistic, and so that maybe their intentions aren't bad.
Right. I would think so. I would still recommend getting a license, because if you go out of state,
Yeah.
you're going to need that.
Right.
Most people we encounter with a handgun license, we know, like you said, they've been vetted, they've had a background, and
Yeah. At least that can put you at ease a little bit.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the good stuff. So,
right.
And I was looking forward to asking this question. So, what's the funniest traffic stop you've ever had? Just something that came out of left field, and I know this is kind of putting you on the spot, but maybe you can come up with something that you can remember. And I would think that in all your years, there's been like some pretty weird stops that you've had.
Yeah, we often joke at the office, we should have been keeping a memoir throughout the years of the stuff, but I think just recently I was in plain clothes, and I was in an unmarked car, and the car didn't even have a police radio in it, and I'm going down the feeder road, and I saw some traffic starting to back up, and I saw some police lights, and then I seen a guy jump over the concrete barrier and take off running. Well, I just naturally knew that didn't look right.
Yeah.
And so I, was in my plain clothes, but I had a badge and gun and handcuffs. So I chased the guy, and not having a radio, I didn't know that he had been running. It was a police chase out of Houston that came all the way up 59 to Splendora.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to catch him. And
So you tackled him, huh?
Yeah, we
Cool.
got him in custody, but there's been, Eric, you probably have some incidences. Every officer could tell you, something crazy.
Anytime you walk up to a stranger's car, you don't know what to expect.
Never.
I hear these things on the news. Well, it's just a routine traffic stop. There ain't no such thing as a routine traffic stop.
Oh, if you pull my wife over, I bet it'd be pretty routine.
I can tell you that they say, life is stranger than fiction. You can't write some of the stuff we encounter.
I did stop Santa Claus one time.
Did you really?
Yeah. And,
That was the year he didn't make it to my house.
yeah. He was busy. We let him go with the warning.
Well, that's got to be good. Was he speeding or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had places to go.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
I hate to think that people need to hear this, but what do you need to do as a matter of course when you get pulled over? I guess number one is pull over.
For sure. I seen one of the questions was, what's your pet peeve? Well, one of mine in law enforcement is people driving slow in the fast lane.
Yeah.
And people pulling over on the freeway, pulling over to the left instead of the right.
I've seen that, yeah.
And Captain McHugh, you want to tell them what you should do?
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand people, for some reason, the lights come on, and I've been pulled over before off duty, and the best thing I do is I slow down, I pull to the right. If I can't pull over immediately, I turn my hazards on to at least let the officer know that I'm acknowledging they're back there. I make every attempt to pull to a safe spot as quickly as possible, and I follow the directions. It doesn't matter that I'm a police officer. If I'm pulled over, and that's a law enforcement officer who believes at that moment I've made some violation, they're within their right to pull me over, and my obligation is to pull over and allow them to do their job. And so I've always tried to do that. Is as even before I was a police officer, and especially as a police officer, it's even more personal to me now. But I think the best thing to tell people is, listen, the lights come on, pull over. You
Yeah.
know, do it. Make every attempt you can to pull over as safely and quickly as possible. If you need to make an exit or what have you, turn your flashers on. Let the person know that you know they're back there and you're doing what you can, and slow your speed. And then just and follow their instructions. It's an unfortunate incident for a person when they're pulled over. We often tell our new trainees, listen, the average person maybe gets pulled over, half a dozen times in their lifetime. Whereas we make thousands of traffic contacts a year, so it becomes a bit routine for us, and we forget sometimes that it can be very nerve-wracking to have those lights behind you because you don't know I'm going to get a ticket, these things. And truthfully, the outcome might be a ticket, it might be a warning, it might be whatever, but follow the process, follow the system. That's what our system is set up to do, is to help you to make your way through the situation in a way that is the safest way possible.
Yeah.
So
Once a person's pulled over, is there like just a thing that a lot of people end up doing that you guys consider to be either wrong or you wouldn't know how to take? In other words, they're moving a certain way or reaching down to maybe try to find some papers or something. I mean, is there is there something that can help the average person when they get pulled over to say, okay, I really don't need to do that. I should just keep my hands at 10 and 2 until this guy asks me to give him my license. Don't start rifling
it.
for
I mean,
it.
you have to think from our perspective when we see, because we're constantly observing what's going on inside the vehicle if we're able to, as we pull a person over. Now at night it's a little bit more difficult, but we also take into consideration that they may have kids in the back they're trying to settle down or what have you. But for me, when I'm pulled over, I keep my hands up on the steering wheel, roll my window down when I'm pulled over, let the officer see that I'm there to not be a threat.
Right.
Essentially. And so I think the thing that people can do to help the situation move more quickly and also de-escalate whatever tension might be there as a result of the stop is just that. Just keep your hands on the steering wheel, roll your window down, let the officer give you instructions as to what they need you to do, because it's going to help facilitate a smoother traffic stop and a smoother encounter for sure. And then just we talk about this often. We get it occasionally is, laws are different in every state. But people who are in Texas or who live in Texas or visiting Texas have to follow Texas state laws. And unfortunately, with the rise in YouTube, Instagram, social media, a lot of people get it in their head that, well, I've seen this on YouTube, I don't have to talk to you, I don't have to give you my driver's license, things of those natures. None of that's true. You do have to engage us, you do have to acknowledge us, you do have to give us your identification, because we're there as a result of a violation and as officers enforcing state law. So
right. Seems normal to me.
You would think so.
Yeah, I remember being in school, and I don't remember what class it was, but it went on for a little while where they taught us, how to deal with the police. Mm-hmm. And I was raised in kind of a rough neighborhood, so I think that was pretty much just a portion of, hey, this is what you're going to deal with in your life, so get used to doing this. And none of it was, don't tell this guy you're not going to give him your license or whatever. Right. It's like, just cooperate, look him in the eye, and
picking a fight with an officer was not an option.
Yeah, don't puff up and try not to be a threat. Yeah. Makes sense to me.
I got pulled over downtown Houston one time, and I was on my way to pay a warrant. I had let a traffic ticket go to warrant. This is a long time ago. I don't do anything
that's what everybody
anymore.
says. I was on my way to pay the warrant.
Don't run me now, please.
We're going to check when this is over just to make sure.
So I'm going downtown. It's at night. I'm headed straight for 1400 Lubbock. I can pay my ticket, get this thing off my back. Here's the lights. Great. I'm half a mile from my destination. He's never going to buy this, but I've got all my paperwork sitting here and my money order made. Maybe that'll help, right? So I pull over in downtown one-way street, and I hear him get on his PA, and this is what I hear. Is that hands up and get out of the car? Is that do something or I'm going to shoot you? And I just went like that, and he goes, God, I don't know what, I showed him my hands out the window. He comes walking up. I said, pull over in that parking garage right there and get off the street. Yes, sir, I'm on my way right now. and we took care of business. And he let me go pay my ticket. But man, you can't hear those guys. It gets a little scary. So I wanted at least to make sure he knew my hands are right here. I can't hear what you're saying, So I guess I did right on that one.
Yeah. I've never had the experience of having him talk on the PA while I'm still in the car, so yeah. At least
I had another one talk on the PA too. I had a firebird.
How many times have you been pulled over?
Well, I didn't get pulled over this time. I was going down the loop, 610. I was doing about 85. It was like the middle of the night. I just left my girlfriend's house, and I'm feeling pretty good about things.
You were doing 55.
I think the statute of limitations is gone on this.
Okay.
And out of nowhere, slow down. Holy crap, there's a cop telling me to slow down on PA. And I could hear him in my car. And
Wow.
you better believe I slowed my ass down immediately.
Yeah, I bet.
And he kept going. I guess he had other things to do. He had me dead to rights. But
You appreciated the warning.
yes, sir, I sure did. I waved at him as he passed. I don't think he saw me, but yeah.
So I know you guys deal with a lot of stress. Just your everyday life's got to be just, I don't know if I could put up with it.
For the family, too.
Yeah. So what do you do to work out all that stress? You like to go hunt and fish and stuff like that?
Yeah, I hunt and fish. I have a little ranch and have some cows that I enjoy.
Really?
Messing with the cows.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, stress relief. Believe it or not, I grow a small garden every year and kind of got a green thumb. But
Well, that'll do it.
I enjoy gardening.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? I guess you fly planes and
Well,
stuff.
starting to some of the same similar things. Honestly, I don't fish so much, but I do like to go hunting and I like to be outdoors. And recently taken up golf as a way to try and help do
Yeah.
something that is active. I used to work out quite a bit. I don't really have as much time anymore. I have
Yeah.
2 small children, so they can be a handful. Just try to spend some time disconnecting a little bit and focusing on what's right there in front of you. I think is important.
Right.
And,
Do y'all have like an active stress relief program that the agency uses or
we
anything?
currently don't.
Really?
We
Just got to let each guy manage it on their own, huh?
our shifts for our patrolmen, we try to break our shifts up to where they at least have one weekend day off.
Mm-hmm.
And they work 4/10, so they get 3 days off.
Okay.
So that helps. When
Sure.
you have an extra day
Yeah,
off.
some downtime.
Yeah.
But they'll put in 4 hard 10-hour days
Yeah, I
to
bet.
get those 3 days off.
Yeah. So where do you like to fish? Salt water, fresh water?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, you got. Do you have a special fishing spot?
I
that
knew you were coming to that.
Call your own,
I do, and
and you're not going to say it.
well,
I don't blame you.
The fish don't even know about it.
They're not
There you
showing up
go.
over there
They're
either.
not showing up either.
Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always wondered how you guys manage stress because it seems like it would be just tough. After dealing with some of the people that even I have to deal with in my job, and I'm in no way am I related to law enforcement. I mean, I can get pissed off, so I can understand you coming home just being frustrated. At
Yeah,
the end
you
of the
know,
day,
you-
it's got to be tough.
You just
You know?
you do your best to try not to bring that home to your family.
Yeah.
My kids are grown. Eric still has young kids, and we just try to, when we get home, not let it show to them.
Yeah, I guess you just got to compartmentalize it,
Yeah.
mentally, and that's got to be a little difficult too because it's got to have an outlet somewhere.
And we do have sources for if officers or deputies are involved in a critical incident,
Mhm.
that they can go and seek some counseling to help
Yeah.
them get through that.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, personally, I appreciate everything you guys do in this county, and I know y'all do a lot. I know a lot of the same people and I hear a lot of what you guys are doing and how y'all go about it. And I don't think the citizens understand all the efforts that your department puts forth to make this a better place to live. And I wish they did. But the only way to do that would be to do ride-alongs or have conversations with the same individuals.
And we do.
that I have. And-
We have a program in place.
Oh, good.
We
Do
have
you? Cool.
We put on a Citizens Academy annually,
Okay.
and it's a 10-week program where you come one night a week, and it's about 4 hours, 3 hours,
Yeah, about-
a night, and
Yeah.
and you you get to learn everything that we do. We put you in. We would do a ride along, put you in the front seat. But we expanded a little bit where it's not just about the constable's office. We bring the sheriff's office in. The judges, we bring a judge in and the district attorney to show citizens what happens to a case after we pass it on.
Okay.
We bring the fire department in. We bring our special response team. They'll get to see how they operate. We do a shoot don't shoot scenario.
Okay.
Where we'll put the citizens in our shoes and they have a handgun that shoots a simulator bullet. And,
Split-second decisions.
Yeah, we
they
let
still don't
them-
have
Nice.
the adrenaline.
Yeah.
That
Be surprised.
But it's a huge eye
Yeah.
opener.
Be
It's a
surprised.
huge eye opener to citizens. So
Really?
that program's been very successful.
So it's had good attendance?
Yeah, out of that we've spanned into a citizens alumni, where when they go through the 10-week program, they don't want to stop, so they can join the alumni and become part of that, and they meet once a month. And,
That's
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
So when does that start?
we just finished our
Yeah, we just finished Lieutenant Slack, and we'll be having some meetings with us about when our next one will be. But we just finished one up.
7 or 8, class number 7, 8,
Maybe 8. Yeah.
It's
We've
one a
had-
year, I guess?
1 year.
Okay.
And what the constable said is really important about how we've adapted it to include agencies outside our own, because a lot of agencies talk about community engagement. One of the things I've seen here at our agency that's been pretty important is the amount of community engagement. It's not just a Citizens Academy, it's us attending concerned citizens meetings on a regular basis. It's us listening to the community and not just letting them talk, but listening to them and having a conversation with them about the things. So with regards to Citizens Academy, for example, we could tell there was a lot of frustration with people who were having to call law enforcement and take reports, maybe it's a theft report or burglary report, and because they didn't really understand what happened with the case once it left our office, we could see that frustration. So for our part, for the constable's part, what he wanted to do was bring those other people in and to let them see the other side of it, so the citizens sort of understand when it leaves our office,
It's a good idea.
where it goes. But
Yeah.
that is a direct result of the level of community engagement, the depth of community engagement, and it's been stressed by the constable from day one, and we're constantly improving. We're constantly seeking to improve the manner in which we engage the community to give them the most information possible about how things work and what we're doing to help them and what they need us to do to help them. And our Citizens Academy has been hugely successful. It's actually spanned 2 officers out of it, one of whom works for us, one of them who works for a local agency, that have gone through the academy and said, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be part of what you are doing. And left that academy and went to a law enforcement academy and became police officers themselves. And to me, that's
Wow.
just nothing better than that. So.
That's great. And that also explains why you're so damn successful. I mean, 'cause these are great ideas. Me and Mark had a conversation about community education. I think it's real important because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Even like the first question I had asked about what was the difference in the agencies between like your agency and the sheriff's department. And you had mentioned some things that I just didn't know. And I think that's similar for a lot of citizens. So the Citizens Academy is a great deal.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you can educate somebody and give them an opportunity to know what's going on, it helps a lot.
Right.
And if you guys don't invite me on that next one y'all have, I'm
We'd
going to
love to
freak
have
out.
you.
So, yeah, I'd love to
At-
go to that one.
At the end of the day, we've just
Yeah.
been blessed, but God's in our corner, and we're out here trying to make it a better place.
Make it safe for everybody.
There you go.
Everybody I hire kind of gets a basic speech from me, and I tell them, you treat people like you want to be treated, and you'll be fine. And I expect them to know, when they pull a car over, within the first, 30 seconds, a minute, I expect them to be able to determine is this a good guy or a good person or a bad person.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would think over a period of time you become a pretty good judge of character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be an ability that's either A, built in or learned really quickly.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
probably learn real fast if that's just I got pulled over nerves, or I've got a trunk load of heroin nerves,
Yeah.
by what they're
Right.
showing you, their tells.
Yeah. Have y'all ever had any big drug busts? Any kind of, where there was like large quantities?
Yeah, just
I know there's been some in the county, but I don't know what agency was responsible.
it happens often. Our
Really?
most recent, Eric, you want to tell them about our most recent?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
40, was it 42?
42.
42 kilos of methamphetamine.
42 kilos.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I wonder what kind of street value something like that has. 42 keys.
So it depends because you'll hear street values and you'll hear really dramatic differences in the numbers, and the truth is it's sort of how you present the information.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at 42 kilos that's being purchased by a dealer who's going to then distribute that at smaller amounts, just like any business,
Smaller
if you buy
amounts,
wholesale and you
yeah.
sell retail, you're going to make more money. So the fact of the matter is we sort of look at street values, but really we look at taking 42 kilograms of methamphetamine off the street.
Yeah, that's a bunch.
Whether it's
Damn.
worth $1 or $1,000 or $1 million.
And that came across the border, I'm sure. They
They
didn't make it in.
Maybe its original source was there, I'm sure, but that wasn't the information that we had. So
Wow.
Wow. That's a bunch. I would imagine that's a pretty sizable pile,
it takes up more than a shoebox, I can assure you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. Do you have any additional comments, Rowdy, that you'd like? Anything you'd like to tell the citizens of Montgomery County about yourself, or?
No, I'm just like I told you earlier. I'm happy to serve. The citizens have placed their vote of confidence in me, and I'm here to do the best job to my ability, and I'm happy to serve my hometown community and continue to make this place better and safer.
Yeah.
One thing we'll talk about is our website. We have several programs that we offer.
Okay.
We offer a vacation watch program. If you're going out of town, you can sign up on a vacation watch, and we'll send deputies by your house while you're gone.
What a great idea.
That's
I
a
never
good
thought
idea.
of that.
They'll make sure your doors are locked, your windows are not broke, and
Cool.
we've even had them pick up some of their Amazon packages and put them
Really?
out of
Yeah.
the weather.
Yeah.
That's the Citizens Academy is another program we offer.
Okay.
At our office, we've made a safe zone for people to make exchanges of purchases.
Like
They may,
transactions for eBay stuff.
They
and
may
stuff
buy
like that.
online. They can come there and
Yeah.
we have a
Craigslist.
place that's has a video surveillance on it that makes it safe. It's utilized a lot for child custody exchange.
Mhm.
A divorced man and woman can meet there to exchange kids for the weekends or summer
Right.
vacation or whatever.
And for those that don't know, where's your office located?
Eric, you want to tell them about the website and how?
Yeah, so the website's
some of the programs?
mcc04.org, Montgomery County Constable Office 4.org, mcc04.org. And our office is right there at New Caney, 21130 US Highway 59. We're going to be right there behind where you go to get your taxes and registration and stuff.
Okay.
The same building.
Right.
So that's where we're located. The safe zones, like the constable's saying, they're there. They're clearly marked. They've been maybe underreported and hugely successful, I think, in my opinion, because you look at all the various components of how we're working to improve community safety
Mhm.
and community confidence in safety being there. It's just
Right.
one more thing that you look at and you maybe don't think too much about it, and even I don't sometimes think too much about it. And I saw a car there this morning, so we were getting ready to leave, dropping a child off, and I thought, and this is fantastic. They're here. They have confidence in the ability to safely make this exchange without any issues because we're providing them with that opportunity. And to me, it's maybe an overlooked component of keeping the peace and community safety, but it's just as important in my estimation. So
There you go.
Also on our website, if you're having a problem with speeders on your street, you can go on the website and fill out a form. We'll send out extra patrol to your
Oh, that's
neighborhood.
awesome. Well, you'll be getting one from me on Tram Road
There you
because
go.
they're always out here flying down the road. So, and Tram is marked 30 miles an hour, by the way, people. So, I don't understand the 55 and the 60 mark.
we already established it.
That was 35 years ago, Hank.
All right. Well, it was good having you guys in, and I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, and Eric, I appreciate your time too.
Yes, sir.
So when do we take off? When's the next flight?
I'll keep in touch. I've got your number, so
Sounds
we'll
good.
keep in touch and we'll get something arranged for
What kind of plane is it?
It's a little Cessna 172.
Awesome.
Oh, those are very popular and proven planes.
They are, and I'm going to use mine to complete my training. and then maybe if I can get the constable to do it, fly him somewhere for lunch.
So what's the speed limit at 20,000 feet?
You know what? The plane doesn't go that high, so I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell you about 6,500 feet, and that plane's about 130 miles an hour. So.
All right.
Wow. Cool.
I'll fly with him when he gets a parachute.
You trust him, but not that much.
Yeah.
You know, I can dig it. All right, guys. Well, we got some good information today. I learned a lot. I did not know about the Citizens Academy, so that's a good thing.
That sounds like a great program.
Rowdy Hayden, he's a popular guy. He'll answer questions. I know this for a fact. If you send this guy an email, give his office a call, he'll get back with you. So if you've got something, get with him. He's a good dude. And he'll be running again in 2024. And I know I'll be voting for him. We're going to get Mark to get in the dress over here, so he'll be voting for him. And Rowdy definitely wants you guys to subscribe to this channel. Am I correct?
You bet.
Yeah, we got, I think, 290 subscribers now, so we're doing pretty good. We're on our way to 1,000 by the end of the year, and I think we're going to make it.
We'll be sharing it on our page
There
as
you
well.
Well, thank you.
follow
And
it.
thank you both so much for coming out, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been good. Just to let you guys know, we've got the police in this afternoon. Johnny Ward is going to come back in, and he is the guy that did our first podcast. He was in prison for 20 years, and he wrote a book called Gridlock, and we're going to cover that book today.
He got his master's
And
degree.
got his
Yeah.
master's degree, and he's turned out to be a reformed guy. He's a smart dude. I look forward to having him back in. If you subscribe to the channel, I appreciate it. And if you haven't, get busy. All you got to do is click it, push it, mash it, whatever you do when you do it. And it's good seeing you guys again. And Rowdy, again, thank you very much. Eric,
Yes, sir.
impressive.
Thank you for
Impressive
having
guys.
us.
Y'all's agency is, if we get the other agencies in here, they're going to have a tough time competing with this. So we'll see you guys on the next one, and we're out.